Do not be afraid of them. Trust in Yahuwah.
Yeah, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Tehillim 23, verse 4. The Exodus, the rescue of Yasharal. A long, long time ago, there was a group of people called the Yasharaleh who lived in Egypt. They had been living there for a very long time, for hundreds of years, but they were not free to do what they wanted to do because they were slaves to the Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. Yahuwah saw that the Yasharaleh were suffering, and he remembered the covenant he made with their fathers. So he decided to rescue them from slavery. Then Yahuwah sent Masha, his servant from the tribe of Levi, and his brother Aharon to help Yasharal. Masha went to Pharaoh and asked him to let Yahuwah's people go, but Pharaoh said no. So Yahuwah sent 10 plagues to show Pharaoh that he was in control and that his children would go free and serve him. The 10 plagues that Ab YAHUAH released on Egypt were turning water to blood, plague of frogs, plague of lice or gnats, swarm of flies, pestilence, livestock, boils, hail, locusts, darkness, and the death of the firstborn. During the last plague, at midnight, Yahuwah struck down all the firstborn in Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat on the throne, to the firstborn of the prisoner who was in the dungeon, and the firstborn of all the livestock as well. Pharaoh and all of his officials and all the Egyptians got up during the night, and there was a loud wailing in Egypt, for there was not a house without someone dead. During the night, Pharaoh summoned Masha and Aharon and said, "Up, leave my people, you and the Yasharaleh. Go, worship Yahuwah as you have requested. Take your flocks and your herds as you have said, and go, and also bless me." The Egyptians urged the people to hurry and leave the country, for otherwise, they said, "We will all die." So the people took their dough before the yeast was added, and carried it on their shoulders in kneading troughs wrapped in clothing. The Yasharaleh did as Masha instructed and asked the Egyptians for articles of silver and gold and for clothing. Yahuwah made the Yasharaleh favored in the Egyptians' sight, and they gave them what they asked for, so they plundered the Egyptians. The Yasharaleh journeyed from Ramesses to Succoth. There were about 600,000 men who left Egypt, plus women and children and sojourners. They also had a lot of animals with them, like sheep and cows. They traveled for many days and nights through the desert and over rough terrain. Yahuwah gave Yasharal a special way to remember how he had saved them. Before they left Egypt, Yahuwah gave Moshe and Aharon some special instructions. He told them to have a special meal called the Passover every year. During the meal, they ate unleavened bread and remembered how Yahuwah had brought them out of Egypt with a mighty strong hand. When Pharaoh let the people go, Yahuwah did not lead them on the road through the Philistine country. Though that was shorter, for Yahuwah said, if they face war, they might change their minds and return to Egypt. So Yahuwah led the people around the desert toward the Red Sea. By day, Yahuwah went ahead of them in a pillar of cloud to guide them on their way, and by night a pillar of fire to give them light, so that they could travel by day or night. Neither the pillar of cloud by day nor the pillar of fire by night left its place in front of the people. Then Yahuwah said to Moshe, Pharaoh will think the Yasharaleh are wandering around in the land in confusion, hemmed in by the desert, and I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. But I will gain glory for myself through Pharaoh and all his army, and the Egyptians will know that I am Yahuwah. When the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their mind about them and said, what have we done? We have let Yasharal go and have lost their services. So he had his chariots made ready, and he took his army with him. He took 600 of the best chariots along with all the other chariots of Egypt, with officers all over them. Yahuwah hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, so that he pursued the Yasharaleh, who were marching out boldly. The Egyptians, all Pharaoh's horses and chariots, horsemen and troops, pursued Yasharal and overtook them as they camped by the sea. As Pharaoh approached, the Yasharaleh looked up, and there were the Egyptians marching after them. They were terrified and cried out to Yahuwah. They said to Moshe, was it because there were no graves in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have you done by bringing us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, leave us alone, let us serve the Egyptians? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert. Moshe answered the people, do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance Yahuwah will bring to you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. Yahuwah will fight for you. You need only to be still. Then Yahuwah said to Moshe, why are you crying out to me? Tell Yasharal to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water, so that the Yasharaleh can go through the sea on dry ground. I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians so that they will go in the water after them. And I will gain glory through Pharaoh and all his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. The Egyptians will know that I am Yahuwah when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. Then the Malak of Yahuwah, who had been traveling in front of Yasharal's army, withdrew and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front and stood behind them, coming between the armies of Egypt and Yasharal. Throughout the night, the cloud brought darkness to one side and light to the other side, so neither went near the other all night long. Then Moshe stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night Yahuwah drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land. The waters were divided, and the Yasharaleh went through the sea on dry ground with a wall of water on their right and on their left. The Egyptians pursued them, and all Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea. During the last watch of the night, Yahuwah looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud at the Egyptian army and threw it into confusion. He jammed the wheels of their chariots so that they had difficulty driving. And the Egyptians said, "Let us get away from the Yasharaleh. Yahuah is fighting for them against Egypt." Then Yahuah said to Moshe, "Stretch out your hand over the sea so that the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." Moshe stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak the sea went back into its place, and the Egyptians were fleeing toward it, and Yahuah swept them into the sea. The water flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen. The entire army of Pharaoh that had followed the Yasharaleh into the sea, not one of them survived. But Yasharal went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. The day Yahuah saved Yasharal from the hands of the Egyptians. And Yasharal saw the Egyptians lying dead on the seashore. And when the Yasharaleh saw the mighty hand of Yahuah displayed against the Egyptians, the people feared Yahuah and put their trust in him and in Moshe his servant. Exodus, Shamu, chapters 10 through 14. The end.
Though Yahuwah had shown signs and wonders in Egypt to make Pharaoh let go the children of Yasharal, why do you believe they were still afraid of the Egyptians? Has it been a situation in your life when you knew Ab YAHUAH would bring you through it, though you still allowed doubt or fear to creep in?
Think about all the things Yahuwah did to save Yasharal. Do you believe he was trustworthy?
Do you know that Ab YAHUAH even now is with us the way he was with our ancestors as they left Egypt? Teach them to do all the things I have told you, and I am with you always, even to the ends of the world. Matthew 28 and 20. Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be afraid, for I am your Lord. I will give you strength, and for sure I will help you. Yes, I will hold you up with my right hand. That is right and good. Isaiah, Yeshayahu 41 and 10. When we realize and understand that Yahuwah is always with us, and that he will never leave or forsake us as we have been conditioned to believe, and when we finally accept his will for us, life is like a breath of fresh air with renewed strength.
There are a few different types of fear described in the scripture. Though we are only looking at two, Yarah and Pakad, there is a difference. Yarah, which means fear, reverence, awesome, fearing, morally, reverence, awe. Yarah is used as a form of worship to Yahweh.
Pakad, which means a sudden alarm, properly the object fear, by implication the feeling, dread, dreadful, fear, thing, great fear, fearling, feared, terror, great fear, where fear, object of dread, panic, terror, and terrors. We are often told not to have this type of fear, Pakad. This type of fear does not please Ab YAHUAH, though Yahuwah has been called terrible and will bring this fear on his enemies and the children of disobedience. Remember, there is no fear, Pakad, in love. Dread does not exist, but perfect, complete, Full-grown love drives out fear because fear involves the expectation of divine punishment. So the one who is afraid of Yahuwah's judgment is not perfected in love, has not grown into a sufficient understanding of Yahuwah's love. 1 John, Yahakanan Roshan 4 through verse 18. AMP.
So we say with confidence, Yahuwah is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? Hebrews Arborit 13:6.
Yahuwah is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Yahuwah is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Psalms Talayim 27 verse 1. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For Yahuwah, your Eluah, goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Deuteronomy Dabarim 31:6.
Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For Yahuwah your Eluah will be with you wherever you go. Joshua Yahusha 1 verses 9.
Fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in Yahuwah is kept safe. Proverbs Meshlei 29:25.
Indeed, the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. Luke 12:7.
Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. John Yahakanan 14 verse 27. Trusting. Though we may suffer hard times, and at every turn there is something trying to test our amunah, faith, we must hold on to our solid foundation, the rock carved without human hands. We must cleave to Mashiach Yahusha, because only through him will we see Ab YAHUAH. He who has promised is faithful. So hold on and trust Yahuwah. He gives strength to the weak and upholds the oppressed. And in him your love is perfected. Fear cannot live there. Though I may speak these words in confidence, I too have had troubles in this area in my walk with Ab YAHUAH. Though here I am, here we are, living for the Eluah whom has been faithful to us all, trusting Yahuwah and hope in Yahusha. Scripture study. Here are some scriptures to study. Pause the video and write them down with an older sibling or your parents' help. Remember always to meditate on Yahuwah's word. It is life.